Hey, this is Ron McCracken, also known as Running Ron. I just wanted to make a little video, a little 3 a.m. My brain is working overtime, so I may as well put it to use, right? Got my vintage Queen shirt on. My mom, Helen McCracken, Bought me this in New Jersey on one of her summer trips to New Jersey many, many moons ago. Makes you feel good to put it on. But anyway, Um, I just want to talk for a few minutes here. And by the way, Hercules is here somewhere. Hercules, you back there, buddy? Well, I guess he's resting. He has more sense than I do sometimes. Anywho, um, just wanted to talk for a minute about sobriety and because December 7th, I'm recording this early morning, December 11th, 3 a.m., like I said, a little bit after 3 a.m. It's almost like a Simon and Garfunkel thing. I think they recorded Sound of Silence like 3 o'clock in the morning or something, but I won't sing that song because I don't sing it that well. But no, December 7th marked 6 years and 7 months for me. And I think most people in recovery understand that every day is huge, and even the monthly milestones are huge milestones. And they might not be to other people. Other people might see it or hear it and go, meh. But it's a big deal to us, and anyone in recovery understands that. But I wanted to address just a couple things about that. And I'll defer briefly to my two celebrity role models for sobriety. That's Eminem and Rob Lowe. Eminem, I think, is 17 plus years sober, maybe getting close to 18 years by this point. Rob Lowe is something like 36 or 37 years sober now, which is just absolutely amazing. But I saw both of them, and this was, my mom would probably call this a God thing. I saw both of them on a different podcast. I think they were both Joe Rogan, but it could have been someone else. But I'm almost certain that Rob Lowe was Joe Rogan. But anyway, I saw both of these podcasts about 9 months into my own sobriety, which started May 7, 2019. So it was probably March or April. No, it was before COVID, because I remember I was talking to someone at my job at Alamo Draft House about it. So it was probably March 2020, right before the world shut down with COVID. And a few things, and this is one reason why I recover out loud, as they say. Since they're recovering out loud, they really were a beacon to me, really a ray of light, a ray of hope. And that's what we hope to do when we recover out loud, help someone else or maybe inspire someone else along the way. Both of them, the thing that was notable for me, aside from very publicly sharing things they weren't obligated to share, but as Eminem says in his song "Not Afraid," which was the first song he wrote as a sober person, his big anthem. But he says at the very beginning of it, when the chorus is coming in, "I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid." He said he's standing at the top of that abandoned building, about 7 or 8 stories up, I think, and at the very edge of it. And he says, "It's been a ride." And he points back behind him and says, "Maybe I had to go to that place to get to this one. Maybe some of you are still in that place and want to get out of there. I'll come with me. I'll show you the way." I might have a few words off on that, but leading the way. And the other thing I noticed with both of them is that how they just own everything. There's no blaming. There's no blaming their parents or blaming a spouse or ex-spouse or anyone. They just own it. All the stupid things they did, all the bad decisions they made, everything. And that doesn't mean, I don't misunderstand it, doesn't mean being up on yourself. That just means owning, like my decision to self-medicate for years, mostly with alcohol, but with pot as well, and a few other drugs, but mostly alcohol and some pot added in here and there, whenever the opportunity arose. But I made those decisions, which were really bad decisions. I did that, and just recently was talking to someone who had been sober for a few years, and then someone I've known for quite a while, so that was awesome to see that they had gotten sober, but then they had some stress, some things going on in their life, and they relapsed, and now they've been sober again for a few years, but every once in a while they'll still go back to blaming a family member that, well, I wouldn't have relapsed except they stressed me out, they did this and that. And I've tried to gently remind them that, okay, you've been in recovery long enough, you have to know that you can't do that. You have to own everything. And just like, I already had a drinking problem, but after the Boston Marathon bombing, I doubled down. My solution on how to treat chronic PTSD was the brilliant solution of self-medicating with alcohol. And so I pretty much doubled my drinking, and that went really badly, I'll say. But I was doing that for a few years before I found therapy. And then it wasn't until, like I said, May 7, 2019, more than 6 years, like almost 6 years and 1 month after the marathon bombing, that I finally made the other decision to get sober and stayed sober. But my point is, you have to own it. Also, when you struggle, I'm finding out that recovery can be a very lonely journey. And because, the obvious gigantic change in your life, so you're going to have different sets of friends and acquaintances and different activities than you did before and everything, and that's fine. But if you ever despair or get discouraged, one is to remember all the progress you've made. Also, just know that you're doing it for you, not for other people. And no matter how much you might despair on certain days, and sometimes I still catch myself doing that, have to remember the sun comes up tomorrow. The sun comes up the next day, whether we're ready or not. So, along with that, I'll share, a few of my favorite sayings, and just mentioning all that. Recovery is not a linear process. It's one of my absolute favorite sayings. And it's absolutely true that you'll have all these ups and downs. You'll have great days and terrible days. The last week or two, I've really had some mental health days where I really struggled a bit, but I remind myself of all those things. And I'll share with you this too, which I've shared on other videos, but I wish I could show you when you are lonely. I wish I could show you when you are lonely or in darkness, the astonishing light of your own being. And I think that's very powerful. Or as Jedi Master Yoda told Luke, luminous beings we are, not this crude matter. No, luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. And something to remember whenever you do have tough days or dark days and dark moments. And again, sometimes, honestly, sometimes I still do. May God always stand between you and harm in all the empty places you must walk. And that's a Egyptian blessing from the 18th dynasty. The 18th dynasty of the Pharaohs. I'll read that again. May God always stand between you and harm in all the empty places you must walk. And sometimes in recovery, you'll feel like you're walking through some empty places. And I think the key thing is you're walking forward. You're leaving the past behind. And that's really a big part of it, and something that a lot of people don't understand about it is, I mean, it's also important to remember the past and where you came from. And I'm a few weeks into EMDR therapy, and so we're talking about a few memories I have from the Boston Marathon bombing, because I feel like there's so much to process with that. There's more I need to process. And but the way I moved on was, it only took me 7.5 years, but when I forgave Jahar Tsarnaev, that made all the difference in the world. That's Jahar's the surviving Boston Marathon bomber. And when I forgave him in summer of 2020, I think it's no coincidence that my therapy and healing just took off like a rocket after that. I was already progressing a lot, but that was just a gigantic difference maker. And especially that last thing, there's a lot of people that don't understand that, and I'll even get people that have told me that you shouldn't forgive him, you shouldn't. And I just think, oh my God, if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be here to tell this story. So, just sending out a message of encouragement, because with all the bad news in the world and everything, people need to hear good things. And just remember, like I said, I wish I could show you when you are lonely or in darkness the astonishing light of your own being. Just remember, you have that spirit within you. And it's basically, I always say the dirty little secret about therapy is it's a lot of hard work if you really want to get better. And that's about it. Hercules is back there sleeping, I guess. I thought he was going to join me for the video, but that's okay. All right, I'm about to have a 3 a.m. snack. Everyone take care, and just remember, the sun comes up tomorrow, and it does get better. All right, y'all take care.